Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 3, and today we're taking a look at the newly released Mountain Dew car pack, and yeah, 7 cars in total in the car pack. A couple of returnees, this being one of them, but yeah, most of these cars are going to get a review of their own, but each car in this car pack during this video will get a quick drive around the block just to give you a quick look at what they're like. And yeah, this is the first of them, 1973 AMC Gremlin X. Now, like I said, this is one of the returnees, and it's a car that's not been in a Forza game since Forza Motorsport 4. And yeah, in my Forza Motorsport 4 video that I did a while ago about cars that I would love to see from that game make a return, this was one of those cars in the top 10. So yeah, hugely pleased that it's made a return back into a Forza game. And yeah, it's a cracking car. Easily one of my favourite early 70s subcompacts, which we actually have another one in this car pack in fact. And yeah, plenty going for it. 150 horsepower from a 5 litre V8 engine, which also makes it the most powerful subcompact from that time. And yeah, I'm just really pleased it's back in. Quite frankly, all we need now is a 4 Pinto, and we'll have several of the you know, iconic subcompacts from that time in this one game. This edition of this AMC to this game also means we've had the most AMCs in any Forza game, with 4. We've only ever had a maximum of 3. So yeah, we have 4 AMCs in this game, so let's take this out to drive and see what it can do. So yeah, hopefully it means that not necessarily going to expect all of the cars in my top 10 from Forza Motorsport 4 to make a return, but the fact that one of them has actually made a return is a you know, a huge positive step forward to hopefully getting a few more out of that top 10 in this game or future Forza games, because obviously there's not that many car packs left in this Forza Horizon 3 game, with Forza Motorsport 7 most likely coming up in the next few months. Hopefully it will get announced at E3, quite frankly. But yeah, to this car pack, well, this AMC is, yeah, it's not the most powerful car ever to have a V8, but what I find funny about this car more than anything is the fact that it has more horsepower than a Mustang from several years later. Because that King Cobra does not have much power whatsoever. This has 12 horsepower more. And yeah, personally I prefer the look of this car. And I just in general prefer driving it, quite frankly. No, it's not the quickest car in the game, and plenty of people are probably not even going to bother driving it, which is a shame. But me personally, I love the fact that it's finally in another more modern Forza game. And yeah, oops, daisy. Just really pleased that they've actually decided to put something a little bit weird, a little bit left to centre on the game. Because obviously we had the AMC Pacer not long ago, which is another car that is a little bit out there. And this is another one of them, quite frankly. So yeah, I will give this car a full review, even though for some reason the car isn't fully explorable because you can't open the rear or open the bonnet, but nonetheless I am going to give this a full review, and yeah, can't wait to try that out. So yeah, let's take a look at the next car in this car pack. And this is the next car, the 1971 Chevrolet Vega GT. Now this is a car that I have really wanted in a Forza game, quite frankly, and yeah, I know that might sound like a weird thing, but yeah, I have an obsession, quite frankly, with you know, less than favourable cars from, you know, the 70s, 60s, 80s from America, quite frankly. And yeah, this wasn't well received in its later years, but was well received in its first year and won Car of the Year, etc. And yeah, I can see why. It looks great. It's pretty roomy on the inside, as you can see. You can easily get 4 or 5 people in there. The boot space is more than adequate, and yeah, it's also rear-wheel drive and packs a pretty decent punch in terms of the engine. It's a 2.3 litre inline-4 engine that produces 110 horsepower, which, yeah, might not sound all that much, and is a lot less than some other subcompacts in this game, for instance, but it doesn't even weigh all that much. It weighs a lot less than, like, say, the AMC Gremlin or the AMC Pacer. So, yeah, it's got lightness on its side, it's got looks on its side, and, yeah, it's really rather quite practical. But let's go out there and see what it can do in terms of drivability. Now I will give this car a full fat review all on its own. But yeah, it's fair to say that I am pleased that it's in the game. Even though, yeah, obviously it's not the fastest car ever, and quite frankly, it's probably again like the AMC Gremlin going to be overlooked by plenty of people, which again is a deep shame. Because no doubt this car is going to be endlessly upgradable. No doubt plenty of people put bigger engines and more power in these cars in real life, and yeah, it's more than suitable for that kind of thing in game, because like I said, it's rear wheel drive, it's quite lightweight, and you can no doubt put a V8 in the front of it, so yeah. But in terms of its stock capabilities, it's pretty decent in terms of acceleration, especially from a car that doesn't have a V8 from the early 70s. And yeah, that rear wheel drive and the fact it doesn't weigh all that much does make it a decently fun car to drive. So yeah, hugely pleased that they put this car in the game, and again it makes me wish that they'd hopefully put in the likes of the Ford Pinto and other subcompacts from the 70s and maybe even 80s, because obviously we have the it'd be nice to have some of the K cars from Chrysler. So yeah, let's take a look at the next vehicle in the car pack. And this is the next car, the 2013 Dodge Dart GT. Now when I think of Dodge Darts, I think of the cars from the likes of the 60s and 70s that have huge V8s, rear wheel drive, and plenty of power. This doesn't have any of that, quite frankly. It's only got a 2.4 litre inline-4 engine, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with inline-4 engines. They can, you know, be in cars that are quite fun. But this only has 184 horsepower and it weighs more than 3,200 pounds. So yeah, not all that much power, fairly decent amount of weight, and the fact it's also front-wheel drive, yeah, it doesn't really evoke the kind of imagery that the name Dart or even putting the GT badge on a car really does evoke. Yeah, but you do only get this engine with the GT car, and it does have extra performance handling upgrades with the GT badge, but yeah, it doesn't really evoke the kind of name that it's really under, quite frankly, and there's plenty of cars out there that have an engine size like this, or even smaller, that have more power because they've got turbochargers or they're just a better engineered engine. But anyway, let's take it out there and see what it can do. So yeah, as you can probably guess, this isn't one of my favourite cars from the car pack, but it is interesting, at least in some regard, and hopefully upgrade wise this car will be even more fun. But in terms of what it is in terms of stock, well yeah, it's a front wheel drive car with sub 200 horsepower and quite a lot of weight, but it isn't the slowest car in the game by any means. It's decently quick, and no doubt it is a decent car to own in real life, because you know, it's got all the usual modern amenities in it, and it's certainly not a car that's going to crash at the first sight of a corner, because the handling is actually fairly decent. But then again, it should be. It's a car with barely any horsepower with front wheel drive, so it's hardly going to be challenging in those regards. But yeah, it's just a disappointment really that they've given the Dart name to a car that, quite frankly, can't match its heritage, which is a shame. But you know, it doesn't exactly taint the Dart name from the 60s and 70s, quite frankly, and as far as front-wheel drive, non-turbocharged saloon cars go, it's fairly decent. So yeah, let's take a look at the next car. And this is the next car, the 1996 Ferrari F50 GT. Now this is remarkably different to the standard F50. Far more power at 750 horsepower, barely weighs 2,000 pounds. And yeah, as you can see with all the extra aerodynamic paraphernalia, it's a lot different in that regard as well. So yeah, far more of a track-focused vehicle, as you can see by the fact that it's got barely any interior. And yeah, only a few of these were actually made, so this is easily one of the rarest Ferraris out there. But to really see what this car's like, got to take it out there to drive it, so let's see what it can do. Now I will admit I've never been a massive fan of the standard F50, but this, even though I don't like the looks of it by any means, is absolutely insane to drive, quite frankly. It's, yeah, like I said, it's got 750 horsepower and it barely weighs 2,000 pounds, so yeah, you don't really need to see me driving this car to know what that's going to be like to drive. But just look at how high it revs. It's 4.7 litre V12. 10,000 RPM. Lag there for some reason. Yeah, thanks to that spoiler at the back and the spoiler at the front and the diffuser underneath the rear. Yeah, you've got plenty of handling as well for it, which is obviously improved the faster you go. And this car can go quite quick. Even with that rear spoiler, it's still got a high top speed. I think it's about 220 mph, something like that. But yeah, expect a full fat review of this, just like pretty much every other car in this car pack, because yeah, this car deserves more than a few minutes, if that, shared with other cars. So yeah, let's see what the next car is. And this is the next vehicle, the 1951 Holden FX Sedan. Now if this looks familiar, well that's because it's based on the same, you know, kind of vehicle as a pickup that we already have on this game. But in terms of actual styling, only really the front is the same. Obviously the rest of it's different because this isn't a pickup, this is a four-door saloon. So yeah, in terms of practicality it's obviously slightly more in terms of carrying extra people. Obviously it can't carry as much cargo because it doesn't have a pickup, it's only got a pretty small boot. But yeah, it's more of a vehicle and more of a car, but it also still shares the same kind of engine as the pickup. It's only got a 2.2 litre inline 6 producing a mere 60 horsepower, but it is slightly lighter than the pickup, so it is slightly quicker than that to in terms of acceleration. But yeah, this isn't going to light any records alike, quite frankly, but I'm really glad this is in the game because it is technically Australia's first car. So let's take it out there and see what it can do. This was actually based, I think, on a Chevrolet design, but the Americans didn't like it because apparently it was too small for their taste, because obviously they're more into their larger cars, because apparently size equals better. But nonetheless, their loss is Australia's gain, obviously, back then, and yeah, meant that they could actually get their car industry off the line. So yeah, it's beneficial for the Australians, and quite frankly, I like the fact that it is you know, the first Australian car, quite frankly, and yeah, I'm really glad to put it in. Yes, you could say it's probably a waste of a space for a car on a car park, considering how similar it is to the pickup. But like I said, obviously stylistically wise, it's pretty much not as similar, because only the front is similar, and obviously it's a little bit lighter than that car, and yeah, it's obviously more of a road car. Pickups in Australia and practically the world over at that time were more workhorses. They weren't, you know, vehicles that you were to be proud of. They were just cars to help you do your job, whereas this obviously is more of a car to take people out with and socialise. So yeah, it's different on that front, and yeah, quite frankly, I like a car that looks a little bit like this. Quite frankly, we don't have enough older, you know, more ordinary cars like this. We have plenty of cars from the 50s that are quick, but not many cars like this that are a little bit on the slow side. But I'm still hugely pleased that it's in the game. Alright, let's move on to the second to last vehicle in the car pack. And this is the next vehicle, the 2016 Lotus 311. Now this is a car that is technically based on the Exige, and yeah, it's pretty impressive, quite frankly. It's got 410 horsepower from a 3.5 litre supercharged V6 engine, and yeah, with the lack of a roof and anything else, quite frankly, it's extremely lightweight as well. So yeah, which obviously improves acceleration and handling. So yeah, let's take it out there and see exactly what it can do. Bit weird having the newest car on the entire car pack from a Lotus, but you know, I'm glad that Lotus is expanding its car roster on a Forza game, quite frankly, because it's been a bit stale in recent years. We've not really had all that many, and this is the first new one for a long time. So yeah, hugely glad that it's on the game, and hopefully it'll make a return to the likes of the next Forza Motorsport game, because obviously, like this and the F50 GT, this is more of a track vehicle than a road vehicle, and yeah, it certainly deserves to be going around a track more than the streets of an Australian city. But nonetheless, still an impressive vehicle. Does bite back though a bit, because obviously it has plenty of power going through those rear wheels, but that much weight to hold it back, which obviously makes it a challenge, but a challenge is better than one that isn't, especially when it comes to quick vehicles. And yeah, this car is certainly going to go down a treat in terms of upgrading and general racing. So yeah, let's take a look at the final vehicle from the car pack. And this is the final car in the car park, the 1995 Mitsubishi Eclipse GSX, and like the AMC Gremlin, this is a returnee from Forza games of old, but it's not a returnee that I quite frankly was wanting or really care about, quite frankly. But I know plenty of people are caring about it, because obviously it's a Japanese car, and plenty of people like Japanese cars, so yeah, I'm glad it's in for those people, and it's still a fairly decent car nonetheless. 210 horsepower, 214 pounds-feet of torque from a 2-litre turbocharged inline-4 engine, coupled with all-wheel drive, makes it a pretty sharpish car for the time. And yeah, 0 to 60, 7.018 seconds, 0 to 119 seconds, and it goes on to a top speed of 159 miles an hour, which is pretty good. But yeah, as you can probably tell by me giving all this detail, it's not a car I am going to be doing a full fat review on, because it's not a car that it really interests me, quite frankly. But you can do plenty to it bodywork wise. Just find the prompt. There we go. This is the problem with this game. You have to be really careful with them. But yeah, you can do plenty of it in terms of the body kits. As you can see, you can do all of this, which again is not something I'm really all that much into. There have been a few cars that I have enjoyed doing such things to, but yeah, you can do those kind of things. Not sure whether or not you can do the rear bumpers and stuff like that. We'll actually have a look in the upgrade shop. I'm sure you guys are interested in this kind of stuff. Yeah, you can put spoilers on it, or you can put the normal Forza spoiler on it, but not much else. But you can change the bumper obviously as well, like you can with the front one. And you can give it different side skirts. So yeah, decent amount in terms of, you know, tunability, etc. And obviously you can put far bigger engines, etc. in. You can put smaller engine in that regard, but 3.2 litre inline 6 or a 6.2 litre V8, which I'm sure people will moan at me for doing at some point. But yeah, let's take it out there and see what it can do in terms of drivability. So yeah, all-wheel drive, smallish engine, but still, again, packing a decent amount of punch. Makes it a likeable, but generally sedate experience, quite frankly. Because, yeah, it's really not going to challenge you in terms of handling or anything like that. It's got a hint of understeer, but besides that, it's really no challenge whatsoever. Because obviously it's not the quickest vehicle in the world, the handling isn't put to the limit either, so yeah, it's a decent car. But again, if I was going to pick a returnee from previous Forza games, this would be far down the list for me personally. But I know plenty of people have been wanting it, and plenty of people have said that they're glad that it's in the game now, which I'm fine with. If people are actually happy about it being in the game, then that's all fine by me. So yeah, I'm glad it is in for those people, but me personally, it's not a car that I really want to in the game as a returnee or addition to the game in general. So yeah, that is a car pack in its entirety. So it's not been, you know, the most in-depth one, but like I said, most of these cars will get a review of their own, which will be in more depth, and yeah, I look forward to doing all of them. But yeah, a little bit of extra news as well. The Forza Fun cars have been updated, and these are the ones you can expect to look forward to. So we've got the 2015 Porsche Cayman GTS to look forward to, the Cayenne Turbo from 2012, the 2004 911 GT3, which is another favourite of mine from Porsche, and the 944 Turbo from 1989. So they're future cars to look forward to. So yeah, we've got quite a busy month in terms of new cars, well, additional cars to the game. Obviously plenty of the cars are not new to the series, but nonetheless, more cars is always a good thing, and yeah, along with the car pack, I'm glad we've got plenty to look forward to. Not sure if there is a car pack out next month or any further months, but this has been a solid car pack. There's a few in here that I have wanted, and a couple that I didn't, but and now glad that are in the game because I do like them. And yeah, solid car pack overall, so I highly recommend getting it. Anyway, Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.